Hi, I've got to remove this rear wiper arm off the glass. A number of reasons. I want to clean underneath around the rubber, I want to clean the rubber, I want to repaint the arm, and obviously I want to get it off so everything's more accessible. But it's actually seized onto the spindle. Now, imagine I can't really yank it because it goes through the glass and I don't want to break the glass. So I've got this tool that should remove the arm without damaging anything. So I've tightened the cone up on the ears of the arm so it grips it. And now it should be just a case of, that's it, remove this. I'll put the nut back on the top so that I didn't squash the thread. Now take the nut off and lift the arm off. These tools are not that expensive, but they do come in handy because I've had to use this on the front ones as well. I thought I'd just give you an insight to some of the tools really that we use during these operations, and it makes life easier and you cause less damage, and that's what we're all about. Right, see you on the next one. Right, to ensure that I get a proper job at the body shop, I've decided that I'm going to strip it, because body shops are notorious for cutting corners, and I don't want no corners cut on this. So this has got to go out and have another clean up. Obviously, it's where the rear lights was. I've removed the roof trim. All this is double-sided tape on the top, so that'll be replaced. I've removed the electric mirror, the trim off there, the trim off there, the door trim I was going to remove anyway, and now I've got this wonderful job of removing this door post trim, because otherwise they'll mask across here and I don't want it masked up. So anything that's going to be in the way I'm taking off, because if I make their job easier, they'll do a better job, and then I can put it back together, and then I know that I'm restoring all the parts before I fit them back on, so I know they'll be right. The rear lamps have all got to be polished up anyway. There's overspray over the lamp this side from when it was painted last, and I think in here you can see the halo where they actually oversprayed onto that pillar, and they oversprayed on the lamp as well. So I want a good job and a proper job, so the only way is to remove everything. I've had to remove the soundproofing from inside the bonnet and ended up chopping myself to pieces doing it, just to get the washer jets out so that the bonnet can be painted. But again, if I left it to the body shop, you know, it's not unusual to see that they've tore the soundproofing off. I'm not saying they do, but in general, I do a lot of work from body shops, and some of the things I see make your hair curl. But ultimately, when people go to pick the car up, they just look at the paintwork that's been done. So I'm making sure everything's removed properly. These washer jets are electric heated as well, so there's a lot of wiring that comes along with it. I've took this scuttle panel right the way out because you can see what gathers in the corners, and that's where the rot goes up into the windscreen and makes them leak. But I want to clean all this up, even though nobody ever sees in there. I'm going to clean all that up as well before it goes to the body shop. That way there's no dust going to be blown onto any of the panels while they've been painted. because you'd be amazed how easy it is to get dirt in the paint. So this job, getting this pillar off, is probably going to take me an hour because it's glued on and it's glued all the way across and all the way up. So it's going to be a pain, but it's got to be done. My next job, which is probably going to be tomorrow now, is to remove all the side skirts on this side. I'm going to leave these mouldings for them to take off. You know, they take these off all the time, and I've told them they've got to come off straight. I don't want them bent and wonky. So if I have time, I'll take them off myself. But you know, it's just getting on. I've got other stuff to get on with this wall before they get it in the body shop. So I'm just going to crack on. Although I've already cleaned it once, it's got to be cleaned again. And you know, obviously I've got more access to some of the dirt now that wasn't visible before. So there we have it. I've got the leather man coming to see it Friday or Saturday with a load of new swatches for the colour, for the trim. So we'll see what he says. I still think we're going to have to buy a skin, but we'll see. He definitely hasn't got it in stock anyway, because he's already been through his... I spoke to him yesterday and he's gone through all his leather and he hasn't got that colour. So we've got to buy it, whatever. But like I say, I'm taking off as much as I can and I'll restore it as I put it back on. So there we have it. I'll see you when I get a bit further. I'll see you later. Hi, good afternoon. Well, I brought the ST outside to get rid of all the dirt in the gaps and where the rear lights was all messy. Just getting rid of the dirt before it goes to the body shop, and while I was at it, I wanted to get rid of this mark that's all across the windscreen, and you could see that the scuttle only comes to there, so you've got this horrible looking stain on the window, and I thought it would be a 2-minute job, you know, just to give it a rub and get it off, but unfortunately it's actually etching into the glass. I've tried even down to a razor blade and it just don't touch it. It's actually in the glass. So now I'm having to cut it out with a machine polisher. So what I thought was going to be a 5-minute job is going to turn into an hour job. But for neatness, when it all goes back together, I don't want that sticking up above the scuttle after I've restored the scuttle, so it's got to be done. So there's another example of thinking a 2-minute job and then it's going to take an hour. So just thought I'd give you a look. I've cleaned all this out and now I'm filling it up with dust off the compound, so I'll have to clean it again. Right then, I'm going to crack on and I'll see you later. It's Saturday morning and I'm in the yard. I've just removed the sill covers, which gives more access to paint the side. So that's all removed. And now I'm trying to remove this plastic cover that some happy sod has used panel bond to glue it on, and to say it's a mission to get it off is an understatement. So I've got the hot air gun, so I'm warming it up, see if I could soften the glue a little bit, which might give me a fighting chance in getting it off. I want it off because I don't want it masked off around this area, and as you can see there's a lot of flatting got to go on here, and the body shop's going to damage that flat in it. I know it before they even start. and I don't want anything damaged, so I'm getting it all prepared and stripped myself so that I know that it's been done properly. And it doesn't give any excuses then to have any halos, any masking lines. You know, it's got to be done properly. So I'm going to crack on with trying to get this off. I would imagine that this is going to be a little bit of a mission, but anyway, it's got to be done, so let's get on with it. I think I'm going to have to find something a bit stiffer than the plastic trim remover that I'm using, because it's just not cutting it. Right, let's go in search of a tool that will do the job. Right, I've managed to get the door trim off after a bit of a struggle. I've got about an hour left at work this morning, and I thought I'd start blowing some of the rubbish off this boot carpet, and I'm going to use the tornado with the fluid turned off just so I can blow most of the rubbish out. So I thought I'd just show you how effective this can be on dirty carpets. Now I hope you can see this okay, because you know what my filming's like. I will be using the carpet extractor on this, but there's no point in extracting all this stringy stuff. Might as well blow it all off first. So, face flooding up the machine, and this does really loosen up a lot of the sand and dirt that's ingrained in the carpet. And we all know if you keep scrubbing these carpets, they fluff up, and we don't want it looking fluffy. So we want to do it as efficiently as we can without roughing up the material unnecessarily. Well, I don't know whether you can actually see the difference, but it is getting a lot of the dirt and sand. It's not getting as much of the bits of wood-like stuff out, but that'll have to be done using the extractor. anybody wants to know how these work, there's a little jet that spins round inside this. Spins round, creates the turbine effect, or whatever you call it, and it agitates the cloth in the piles of the carpet. I suppose it would help if I turn the compressor on. I'm running out of air, but I'll crack on and do this. Just get it as free of rubbish as I can before it gets extracted. And as you can see, got a lot of the rubbish out of it with the tornado. It's still obviously got loads of bits in it, but now it will be ready for extracting. And the reason I do it is I don't want to over soak the carpet, because the board on the back, once you start getting that wet, you're degrading it. So I want to get it cleaned. You know, obviously I want it to look like new, but with the least amount of damage to anything. So the more I clean it beforehand, the less water I have to put on the extractor. So there you go, that's half the job done on that. I mean, really the detailing isn't going to start until after the paintwork's done, but these little bits and the bits I've taken off while the car's in the body shop I can crack on with. You know, it saves time later on then. You know, I'm not going to just ignore the parts that are here while it's in the body shop. I'll get on and clean things up. Right, I'll see you soon. Well, with the door trim off and the seals off, now I'm going to take the stripes off, and I'm going to have to hope that I can buy these from Ford, but they've got to come off one way or another, so that's my next job. And I might have a go at taking these mouldings off, see if I can get them off without them crunching and bending, because they'll only look wobbly when they go back on if I don't. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. See you in a bit.